Hi, my name is Brian, and this is the Week 5 discussion. All right, so we got to do this without reading off the script. Well, we'll do our best, but no promises. Okay, so while I do initially agree with the diagnosis of depression, in this assignment I'm supposed to perhaps create a different diagnosis. So let me share a couple quotations that I think are relevant. Eisnick in 2018 stated in his work, or her work, Anxiety and Depression Towards Overlapping the Distinctive Features, that a central finding in the study of anxiety and depression is that they are moderately highly correlated with each other. One point I want to bring up right now, just to get it out of the way, is what I'm going to diagnose as general anxiety disorder. And the diagnosis code is GAD DSM-5 300.02 parentheses F41.1 in parentheses. An additional quotation I like is Spielberger in 2019 in his work Anxiety, Cognitive, and Affect, a state trait perspective, reminded us that Sigmund Freud was the first to attempt a systematic explication of the meaning of anxiety with the context of psychological theory. This means that the diagnosis for anxiety has a rich history in the psychology field. So I want to address how are depression and anxiety related, because she appears to have both. It is very much often a co-occurring disorder also. Anxiety and depression, it's stated, sometimes have about 60% of the cases correlate or occur together. Each illness does have the potential to worsen over a period of time, and they kind of can feed on each other too. So it's important to recognize them. Now I'm going to talk about how they're different. How are anxiety and depression disorders different? So the symptoms are the primary distinctions. So what are the symptoms of anxiety and what are the symptoms of depression? Just real quick, general, sadness that lasts a long time, that's more in the depression. Whereas anxiety is characterized by a lot of uncontrollable fear or worries, right? And we'll see in this case there's a little bit of both, right? So when I'm assessing for general anxiety disorder, I'm looking for a few of the following things, right? Again, I'm going to read my notes to get this right. But the presence of excessive anxiety and worry about a variety of topics, events, or activities. And that worry occurs more often than not for at least 6 months, and it's clearly excessive. So not much is shared about her life before the death of her boyfriend 6 months ago, but it suggests that for the past 6 months, she's had a lot of anxiety and panic attacks. She had to quit her job because of that, right? When she tried to sit back in her office where she received the phone call, it was difficult. And then when she did try to attempt to return to work, it was unbearable for her. She had to go home. Part two, was the worry experience was it challenging to control? Did she shift from one topic to another often, right? So the first part about her worrying being uncontrolled, and I would state that she's trying to forget but she frequently relives the phone call, and she hears the hospital nurse on the phone. So I think she wants to let that go, but she can't. And so that for me falls into the category that it's challenging to control. That the anxiety is happening outside her control. I don't really see a dramatic shift in topics in this vignette, but that's not one of the requirements to diagnose the general anxiety disorder, to my understanding. The last part is the anxiety has to be accompanied by at least 3 of the following physical or cognitive symptoms. I can go over all 6; they're right here. But what I'm just going to talk about is the 2 that I felt were met. Edginess or restlessness. So one of the things I said is that she mentioned a few times that she attempted to return to work, like I said before, and they were unbearable for her, and she had to go home early. So that's kind of the restlessness. And the second one is irritability. It doesn't have to be observed by others. Her family says that she's irritable since her fiance's death, so that's pretty clear there. And then the last part is difficult sleeping. Is she having trouble falling asleep, right? And she states that she has restless nights and claims to have nightmares about the phone call almost every night. So with that said, I feel comfortable diagnosing Sarah with general anxiety disorder. Again, this is week 5. Thank you for listening. Have a wonderful day.